You are not afraid of water. You are afraid of what water does to the body when the body stops cooperating. Most people have it completely backwards. They picture drowning as dramatic, arms thrashing, someone screaming for help, a visible struggle. That picture is wrong, and that wrongness has killed more people than almost any other misconception in history. What actually happens in the first 60 seconds is quiet, precise, and almost mechanical. Understanding it, exactly what it does and when, is the difference between life and death in a way that almost nothing else is. Your body runs a program so old, it predates language, predates memory, predates anything we would recognize as a human decision. The moment arrives when swimming stops being automatic and starts being a calculation your body is losing. Most people assume this moment announces itself clearly. It does not. Drowning researchers call it the instinctive drowning response. The drowning person does not wave. They do not call out. They do not signal. Their arms go out to their sides and press down against the surface, not to wave for help, but because the body has one goal: keep the airway above the waterline for as long as physically possible. This is what drowning actually looks like. A person standing nearly vertical, head back, mouth at the surface, eyes unfocused, arms pressing outward in slow, almost peaceful arcs. To almost every untrained observer, they look fine, like they are just resting. They have between 20 and 60 seconds before they go under. The first thing that happens is not panic. It is cold. Cold water triggers something called cold shock. Nerve endings fire a full-body alarm. The result is immediate and violent. You inhale sharply, involuntarily, whether you want to or not. If your face is underwater when this happens, you inhale water, not a little, a full reflexive lungful. Cold shock also triggers hyperventilation. Your breathing rate spikes. Your heart rate can double in under 30 seconds. Your blood vessels constrict all at once. The body pulls blood away from the extremities to protect the core organs. Every system firing simultaneously with no clear commander. The person inside the body, the one with a name, a family, plans for next weekend, has just become a passenger. Here is where it gets strange. Hyperventilation exhales carbon dioxide faster than the body produces it. CO2 is not just a waste gas, it is a signal, the primary chemical that tells your brain when to demand a breath. When it drops, the urge to breathe decreases temporarily. Some drowning survivors describe a strange window of calm in the early seconds. Not peace exactly, more like the volume being turned down. This is not rescue. This is chemistry. The decision-making centers of the brain are being systematically deprioritized. The prefrontal cortex, the part that makes plans, that knows to call for help, is being starved of resources, so the brainstem can focus entirely on the mechanical problem. You know you are in trouble. You cannot do anything about it. The arms are tiring. They were never designed for this. The instinctive drowning response requires continuous isometric contraction against a surface that gives way over and over, with no rest and no progress. The arms begin to slow. The mouth, which had been clearing the surface with inches to spare, is now skimming it. The person is still conscious. They can see the shore, the boat, the dock. What they cannot do is call out, because calling out drops the head below the waterline, and the body will not allow it. Francesco Paia's research documented case after case of this exact scenario. A person drowning within arm's reach of someone who thought they were fine, not because the observer was careless, because the drowning person looked fine. The first submersion happens. The head goes under. The body has lost the fight for the surface. The moment the face submerges, the body triggers the dive reflex, one of the oldest programs in the mammalian nervous system. Heart rate drops dramatically. Blood reroutes to the brain and heart, the two organs that cannot be allowed to fail. In children, the dive reflex is far more powerful. Cold water can slow their metabolism so completely that children have survived submersions of 30, even 40 minutes. These cases are extraordinary. They are not the rule. The CO2 has been climbing back up. The brain's chemoreceptors are firing. The signal is unmistakable and absolute. Breathe. Breathe now. Breathe regardless of consequences. Drowning researchers call this the break point. Every person has one. Nobody can push past it indefinitely. Trained freedivers can extend it. Untrained swimmers cannot. But the brainstem overrides everything. It overrides fear. It overrides knowledge. It overrides the part of you that knows breathing underwater will kill you. At breakpoint, the body inhales. This triggers an immediate laryngospasm. The larynx slams shut, a last-ditch reflex to keep keep water out of the lungs. In roughly 10 to 15% of cases, it never relaxes. Those victims die from asphyxiation without water ever entering the lungs. In most cases, the laryngospasm gives way. Salt water is hypertonic. It pulls fluid from the blood into the lung tissue. The lungs begin filling from the inside. The blood thickens. The heart has less to work with. Fresh water does the opposite. It crosses into the blood rapidly. The red blood cells swell and burst. Both processes are fatal without intervention. Different paths, same outcome. But here is what nobody talks about. Survival is not about the water. It was never about the water. The consistent factor across drowning survival research is recognition. Someone nearby who knew what they were looking at. The Coast Guard estimates drowning is one of the leading causes of accidental death worldwide. Tens of thousands of deaths per year in water that in many cases had other people in it or near it. Not because those people didn't care, because they didn't know what they were seeing. Vertical in the water, head low, mouth at the surface, eyes unfocused or glassy, arms pressing outward at the sides. No waving, no calling out, no struggle. If you see that, you have seconds. The body fights for you until the last possible second. It runs every program it has, in sequence, with perfect efficiency, right up until the programs run out of time. The tragedy of drowning is not that the body gives up. It is that the body never gives up. The only thing that reliably stops that clock is another person. Someone who looks at the quiet, vertical, almost peaceful figure in the water and knows exactly what they are looking at. The body fights for you until the last possible second. The question is whether anyone is watching.